That would have been a nice win last night if they were able to pull that one off. They had a solid first half. They just could not live up to it in the second half, which sucked, of course. And now the conversation is becoming, who is the real Miami Heat? And one of the things that I was thinking about yesterday, and I've already seen it on social media, is, well, hey, they lost yesterday, but they were without Tyler and Leonard Myers. And Myers Leonard, I'm sorry. And let me explain something to you. They beat Milwaukee without Jimmy Butler. So, you can't play that game. You know what I'm saying? Either you're a good team or you're an average team or you're a bad team or whatever. And look, maybe the Heat isn't a top, 2 or 3 seed. Maybe they're 4 or 5. Maybe they're what I thought they were going to be and the back end of the playoff race. I don't know. We're going to find out. This second half is going to be interesting because now they haven't finished the road trip. The road trip has one more game in Atlanta, but it'll be after the All-Star break. So players now are off till the 20th, I believe, and then they'll play Atlanta when they come back from the All-Star break and pick up where they left off. So now they've got about a week here to rest, and then they'll restart the second half. And remember, several of their players will be at All-Star weekend. You've got a Heat player in almost every event. And let me tell you, as a guy that doesn't watch the All-Star game, I'm going to end up watching it this year because of Bam and because of Butler, actually. I'll watch these guys. So it's going to be pretty cool to watch all these Heat players. But, talking about the game and where the Heat stand, that's the discussion right now. Is, all right, so are they good? Did we get fooled? Was it a hot start? Are they now coming back to reality? Those kind of things. That is really the issue that's going on with the Heat, and everybody's got their opinion. Time will answer all of this. Look, the Jay Crowder addition was a good thing. See, that's where you can't say, well, we're missing Tyler Hero and we're missing Myers Leonard. Well, yeah, but you didn't have Andre Iguodala and you didn't have Jay Crowder. So now you've got Jay Crowder and Andre Iguodala. You got to find ways. If you're a good team, you'll find ways to win some of those games like you did against Milwaukee without Jimmy Butler, right? And that's why this excuse about, well, these two guys were out and that really hurts. It does. Of course it does. But that doesn't really define what happened last night. You know what happened last night is that maybe you're not that good. And you're certainly not that good on the road. You're 13-16 on the road. So you're a bad team on the road. And let's be honest, you're getting worse on the road. You're not getting any better on the road. You're getting worse on the road as the season goes on. Your record is taking more of a hit as the season goes on. You're becoming more of the team that maybe is in the bottom ringer of the playoffs. So it'll be interesting to see how this Heat team bounces back because they should be somewhat healthy now when they come back from the All-Star break. Because you would imagine that Myers Leonard and Tyler Hero could be back already by that time and ready to go. So you'll have a full complement of players. You're going to be pretty damn deep already with your roster. Not a lot of excuses. Now you got to find a way to get that consistency. Something that our boy Kendrick Nunn does not have. You know what I mean? When it comes to shooting, but that's young players. And maybe this is who he is too. That's the other thing about Kendrick Nunn that we're going to find out in another year or two. Is he this guy that is a streaky shooter? And if you have a guy like that, then that's not a guy you can count on offensively night in and night out. I mean, I love the moxie he plays with. He helps you out in other areas, but he is not a consistent shooter. Now, Duncan Robinson, that's a consistent shooter. He hit 6 more threes yesterday. What was the thing that Eric Reed said? I want to say that he's the first player in Heat history with at least 5 threes in like 5 consecutive games or 6 consecutive games or something like that.
5.
5. Nobody's done that. That's consistency. You know what I mean? That's a guy that you can count on shooting at a good to excellent percentage night in and night out. Kendrick Nunn is not. And that's kind of what this team is. It's a team that is kind of trying to find its consistency. And it's a living off of a really hot start. Because if I go back and I look at their record as of the last, 20 games, it's probably not nearly as nice as the record was earlier on in the season, right? And I'm going to pull it up here while we're talking, but that would be my concern right now if I'm Eric Spoelstra. And it's not about the injuries or what you've missed, because you've had guys that you've missed throughout the year and you've won and overcome. When you're a good team, you're able to do that at times. They seem to not be able to do it at all now. And that's a whole different ballgame. I mean, this was a terrible road trip. That Utah win, at least if you end up 2-3, you go, okay, well, you found a way to beat a quality team at the end. You won the Golden State game, which is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to beat Golden State. So at least you kind of turn things around at the end of that road trip. You might feel a little better going into it at 2-3. But losing to Utah, this becomes a disastrous road trip because you couldn't beat any quality teams. Hell, and the Kings aren't considered quality, but they're not terrible. But you couldn't even beat them. Got a Bogdanovich put on a show for you in Sacramento and in Utah last night. Right? Exactly right. I think so, if I'm correct. Go Gators says, I didn't think about the demographics. Interesting point, especially considering how the UFC uses social media to its advantage, unlike MLB. Oh, yeah, man, of course. Big O Lucky the Bookie was right again. Utah covered. Nice. There you go, Lucky the Bookie. Morning, everyone. Baseball is boring. Look at the NBA and NFL. Even their off seasons are exciting. Baseball's off season, boring. Man of 1,000 holds. I'm very concerned about Butler. Looks like he's breaking down. Well, I mean, those are things that we were all worried about. He got tweaked yesterday again, but then he comes back and has that dunk because he's a tough guy, you know? But, yeah, you should be concerned about Butler. That's a guy that's got a lot of wear and tear on his body, and I respect the fact that he plays hard. But still, man, when we talk about Jimmy Butler, we're talking about a guy that, you know, this is a major question mark when it comes to durability for him, because it's something that you have to be concerned about with all the wear and tear, and being a part of a Tom Thibodeau team isn't necessarily the most advantageous situation for any player out there. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I would tell you that, yeah, we gotta worry about Jimmy Butler, man. Worry about it in a big time way. But this Heat team is headed for a very interesting second half here, because we're going to find out a lot about this team. We're going to find out whether they are for real or not, if they can actually make an impact in the playoffs, and were they living off of that incredibly hot start. Look, I've got the schedule here, and I'm doing this on air, by the way, okay? So you got to bear with me here as I have to count, and I have trouble counting. But let's go from December 30th, right? Let's go from this season on. Since December 30th, let's do this, all right? December 30th. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 losses. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 wins. There you go. How about that? In just 1 second, from December 30th to February 12th, okay? We're talking about a team that is 11-11 in their last 22 games. How about that? And that was right before their 5-game winning streak, where they beat Philadelphia, Indiana, Utah, New York, and Philly again. How about that? So we were like on a high at that point to end pretty much the year. Starting on December 30th at Washington with that loss, from there on, they had the loss to Orlando, loss to Brooklyn, loss to the Knicks, loss to San Antonio, loss to the Clippers, loss to Boston, loss to the Clippers, loss to Sacramento, loss to Portland, and now lost to Utah. Notice how many bad teams they lost to during this streak. Their wins, their 11 wins, Toronto, Portland, Indiana, San Antonio, Oklahoma City, Sacramento, Washington, Orlando, Philly, Golden State. 11-11 in their last 22 games. That's the problem with Miami now. So you've played, 45, 54 games. Okay? So you've got 28 games left. And let's say you're 34-19. Let's say you go 14-14. You end up with 48 wins. And let's see, 33, right? 48-33. Am I right there? Yes, I'm right there. 48-33. Where does that get you? It's probably like a maybe a 5, a 6 or 7 seed probably. Yeah, 5, 6, 7 seed, something like that. That's if you go 14-14 in your last 28. And let me see how many good teams they have left. The good thing is they come out of the break with Atlanta, Cleveland, and then Minnesota. So you're playing 4 weak sisters off the bat. Then you play Dallas and Brooklyn, then Milwaukee. Orlando's a pain in the ass. You play New Orleans, it won't be easy. At Washington, then Charlotte, then New York, Chicago, easy again stretch. Then you got Milwaukee, Chicago, then Indiana, Oklahoma City, Denver, Phoenix, at Charlotte, Boston, Detroit, New York, Indiana, Detroit, Boston, Charlotte, Toronto. Be interesting. Let's see how they handle the final 28 games of the season. They got their share of easy ones and they got their share of hard ones. But if you look at their last 22, they've got plenty of losses to bad teams. And they got a few wins against good teams too. Inconsistency, man. That's your Miami Heat. That's all you can say.